What's up today, guys? Back at it on the G5. So I didn't think I was gonna have all the parts in for this, but I did. I got them in finally, actually yesterday. Today's a Friday. So I can do a first start video by, fixing the carb and everything. But I thought I better take a look at this gas tank because, believe it or not, it is a little rough. I hope that's just orange spray, but I'm guessing it's not. I'm thinking that's rust. Unfortunately, it has a cream, I think, tank in it. It's not red. It's kind of that, well, tannish cream color. So I'm assuming it's cream. Now, to get that out, I need to put acetone in there and let that soak for a bit. I'll probably do it overnight. Then I will put vinegar in here, clean it out. I will fill all the pinholes. I'll most likely just JB weld it, and then I'm going to red coat it. Now I need to red coat my CL200 tank because in the last video, if you saw, I put new fuel line on it, and I cannot fit the 1/4 inch 5/16 filters on it now onto the fuel line. It is too small, so we're just going to red coat the tank like the rest of my bikes. So without ado, let's get started. So I pulled the petcock off, and there should be a little strainer thing here, so I'm gonna have to look. Some of these are rebuildable where you can put new ones on here, and some of them aren't, and that gasket looks really dry. I went ahead and bought this gasket because you could kind of see this is wonky in here, so I figured that was bad. Maybe I bought the float bowl gasket. I can't even remember what I bought for it now. I'll have to double check the part numbers. I'm gonna be in the big town over, so if I need more acetone, I'll pick some up tomorrow. Now, one other reason I kind of wanted to go over this tank is because I'd say it's a little crunchy. So, someone may have already coated this because you can see almost a brush stroke down here. I wasn't sure what size I had here on this pipe thread, so I bought a set of Dorman vacuum caps. And I'm hoping one of them's pretty close. If I remember right, I think it was pretty close to 5/8, which I don't know what that is in NPT, but it was like 0.62 something, so just finger around in here till I find one that too big fits somewhat close. Here we go, that one is okay. See how this works. I may have to put a hose clamp on. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to put a hose clamp on it. Alright, so we got it outside, away from everything. Gonna let it soak overnight. Hopefully, at least I should say, hopefully it'll just be overnight. That red coat did not take more than a day to do. And I'm thinking this is nope, this is clean stuff. So I thought this was a little red coat juice. Position myself here, and we will just fill this up and let it sit. Well, shoot, I thought the camera was rolling when I was talking. Anyways, so we got about 1.5 gallons in here. It's a little short. It's about to here. Hopefully the vapors will kind of work their magic. I'm going to get the funnel and the pliers over here kind of helping to hold it center. So come back in 24 hours or probably just tomorrow afternoon or sometime tomorrow when I'm around and see how it's going. So here we are. I've had it soaking for 2 days. Kind of revised my setup because at some point it started leaking out of the tank. So I decided to put it on this extruded metal so it wouldn't be sitting in any acetone that leaks. This is all water in here. There might be a little acetone, but it rained last night, so a lot of that is from that. But these chunks, these black chunks, these are pretty thick too. I expected something, thin like this, itty bitty, but this is a big chunk. Granted, if you're pouring it in, it kind of all settles to the bottom. I actually only just got the ball bearings less than an hour ago. I threw them in and just kind of shook around. You can kind of hear them still in there. The only problem is, I don't know if I can get the light in there. That's still a lot of liner in there. Part of it is, again, it kind of started leaking, so it was about half tank. And now I don't have any acetone, so I'm gonna have to wait till next week, or not next week, but later this week to continue on. The rubber cap held up really well. You can kind of see it might have been leaking down here somewhere. Probably along there, I can see it. That seam, it's rusted out there, I guarantee you that. So we'll see. I may have to repaint this tank. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. We'll see how it turns out here. It's a play toy at this point, so I'll just kind of continue on here. I'll get some more acetone, and hopefully in 2 weeks we'll be able to throw some vinegar in it. I even thought about just putting vinegar in it and seeing if it was so loose off there that it would just eat the rust and take care of it, but I think I'll just acetone again over the next weekend and see what happens. Okay, so it's a week later. Thank you. I went and got more acetone at Walmart. So this time I'm going to take 19. I'll put this one in there. 20 screws, 1-inch screws in there. That way I can hopefully get that shook around a bit. And I'm not super worried about the little balls because, well, these aren't going to really clog up the petcock because they're too big. Shoot. But I do have a lot of other junk mixed in here. Oh well. So we're going to just go ahead, I guess I'll just put them all in. That did not work out as well. Well, it looks like all the junk is coming out that way, though. Oh, I found it. Oop, there we go. Found an easy way to clean these, maybe. It's all red coat in there. Oop. As I lose them all over the place. But again, that's why I got that giant magnet. So, put my little jar back together here. Set it over here. Hopefully nothing hits it. Now we will fill this guy up till it's full. So I got 2 gallons. That one is. It's dirty, but it'll work. Got 2 gallons this time. Oop. And I have that partial gallon from last time. I think it's it's just right at 2 gallons, I think, is what this tank takes. I think if this fails, I will probably have to get some MEK. I'll have to go to the actual paint store to do that. Okay, I'm going to scoot this just a little bit farther ahead. There we go. Let's go. Put the cap back on. Oddly enough, both those caps came off really easy compared to who we dealt with last time. I will, I'm going to go to the KKOA car show tomorrow, so you will probably see that video before this video comes out. And after that, I'll come home and I'll give this a shake and probably clean it out. See if everything loosened up a little bit. Hopefully it does. right up to the brim for the most part. So put this cap back on. Just right under 2 gallons is what this tank holds with that extra stuff in it. I'm gonna put this cap on. When I took this cap off, it did actually hold a seal, so it is not venting. That's good or bad, I don't know. That might be partially why some of that stuff came out, because it probably got overpressured and squirted out. Anyways, I got this all sealed up, so let's I'll come back tomorrow. So here we are, a whole week later. I've let it soak for a week. I'm still getting these chunks out, but I can't get it all out. The screws and the nails, I've come out and I shake it every now and then. We got to the point where I've got the ball bearings stuck in the cap. It holds pressure for the most part, but like I said, I still have that junk in here, so I'm not sure what I want to do now. I don't think this is cream. It's definitely not red coat. I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to get MEK because that's pretty expensive. So what I think I might do is I got a couple options. One, I can go to the laundromat, fill this thing with all this hardware after I let it air out for a week, wrap it in a big blanket, and run it in there for a while. Hopefully that tumbling will get it to, you know, basically shot peen the inside. I'm tempted to ask my buddy if I could borrow his paint shaker, mount it to that, see if that'll help. Or I think the option I'm going to go with right now is I'm just going to fill it with white vinegar and see if that white vinegar will take care of it, because this acetone does not touch it. I mean, it kind of softens it, but it doesn't really do the job. And I think really what is helping me is more or less the hardware that I've had in here. The cream lining stuff in there is it's all kind of came out, but the rest of it hasn't. So I'm gonna fill it with vinegar. We'll check it out in a week. Well, with some luck, it removed that liner. I was quite surprised. So I'm gonna dump the vinegar out and dry it before we coat it. Well, finally got all that junk out. I'm gonna go inside for a bit because it's like 110 today, and I went ahead and put isopropyl alcohol in the tanks after I flushed them with the garden hose. Hopefully that'll collect all the water and save me some of the trouble of having to blow dry it like I always have to do. Next step, red coat. So here we are at the end. I'll kind of describe what I did. I put some isopropyl alcohol in here after I flushed it out with water to try to get all that leftover junk out, whatever was in there. And then it's like 110 today. I think I said that already. So I let it sit outside, try to let it cook out, pushed air through it with the air compressor hose, flush it, you know, with air, trying to get everything out. And then once I confirm that everything's dry, I go ahead and I capped off the end with the vacuum cap like I had done to soak it in vinegar and acetone, the Dorman ones. I then filled it with the red coat, turned it around, and then basically I flip it over like this above the can, try to get out as much as I can, and then I usually just go ahead and get a bucket or a milk crate and put a paper towel on the bottom, and I let it sit like this, because to be honest, it's going to keep dripping for a while. And you know, like most people say, is when you put a tank liner in and if it, you know, pools up at the bottom, then it doesn't fully cure, and then you have issues with it coming back out later. Well, my simple solution to this is I'll flip it on the top, because, well, you're not really ever worried about the top of the gas tank. You're more worried about the bottom. So if it all goes ahead and collects at the top and doesn't cure at the top, I'm not super worried about that part. If I do have issues, I'll just throw some acetone in it, because I'm pretty sure the acetone takes red coat out like that, because I think it was like a day on the KD 175 that I did. Just put some acetone in. That stuff had been in there for, I think it was like 5, 6, 7 years. Boom, was out. I was good to go. Fresh tank. Well, no liner. I probably should have done some of the body work on this before I put the liner in, but again, like I said, I'm not super worried about it. I could put some acetone in and just redo this whole process if I have to. But I'm gonna leave it like this probably for a week. I got the CL200 over here as well, And as you can see it's still dripping everything out. And basically leave it like this, let it cure for a week. It'll really cure this week because it's going to be in the hundreds all week, so that'll just get that MEK out of there. That's what I think is their binder. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but the soluble part of it, the part that evaporates out. So yeah, this tank's good to go, coated, and the CL200 is as well. I think I'm going to end the video here for the G5 tank, actually that's CL200, and call it a day on that one. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm getting very close to getting the G5 running, and I got some more projects to do on the CL200, so have more coming along the line here.